podcast. Welcome from St Augustine's CE Academy in Draycott-in-the-Clay.
Hello from the Academy from Rocester.
Hello from Horton St Michael's First School and Nursery in Rudyard.
We're Church Eaton Primary School in Church Eaton.
Welcome to our podcast.
Thanks for listening.
Hello and welcome to another great episode of the SUAT podcast from Staffordshire University Academies Trust. My name is Richard and I'll be your podcast guide as we explore more wonderful recordings from our children and staff. Staffordshire University Academies Trust includes schools from all over the county of Staffordshire, and each episode of the podcast features contributions from just a few of those schools. As you've just heard, this episode includes recordings from 4 schools: Church Eaton Primary School in Church Eaton, Dove CE Academy in Rocester, St Augustine CE Academy from Draycott-in-the-Clay, and Horton St Michael's CE First School and Nursery in Rudyard. All of the recordings that you'll hear were recorded independently by the children and staff of those schools, and I'm sure that you're going to agree they've done an amazing job.
Welcome to our podcast.
Now, one of the highlights of the spring term in our schools was World Book Day on the 3rd of March, and so we decided to make the theme for this episode the joy of reading. We love reading at SUAT, and inspiring a love of reading in the children is really, really important in all of our schools. We think the joy of reading is going to shine through in our show. So coming up, we have fantastic poetry performances from individual children and classes, a collection of lovely recordings of the children telling us all about their favourite books and authors, news from the schools about all of the fun activities they took part in during World Book Day itself, some great reading tips for children and parents from SUAT Teachers, and also from a famous local children's author, and a very exciting teaser for a forthcoming SUAT writing competition with some fantastic prizes. But to get all you wonderful podcast listeners involved, we're going to begin with a bit of a quiz. Grab a piece of paper and a pencil if you can, and listen carefully as the children give you clues to the identities of 4 different mystery masked authors. Who are they describing?
First clue to our author is that they write wonderful children's books.
Our next clue is that our author wrote some of her books in the cafe.
Here's my favourite line from one of their books.
Turn to page 394.
Our author writes funny books that are also mysterious.
My favourite character from our mysterious author's book is Beatrix Lestrange because she is feisty, dangerous and makes a good villain.
This person has learned French.
Person has a portrait in the National Portrait Gallery.
This person had no brothers but one sister and a cat. The cat was called Jeffrey.
This person used to write stories on the back of envelopes.
This author has made fiction books. This author has written 210 books. Books rhyme.
They have written books with lots of pictures.
The first clue to our mystery author is that before he was an author, he flew planes in the RAF.
Our author has a daughter named Sophie and named a character after her.
Our mystery author wrote about Charlie, James and Danny.
to our author is that he was a comedian and an actor before he was an author. He is a judge on Britain's Got Talent.
Our author writes funny books that have lots of different fonts and styles of letters to show characters' emotions and feelings.
My favourite character from our mystery author's book is Myrtle Meat because she screams an awful lot and gets whatever she wants.
Do you know who they are talking about? Stay listening to find out if you were right. The answers are coming at the end of the show. It's time now for our first poetry performance of the podcast, and we're kicking things off with St Augustine's from Draycott-in-the-Clay and their brilliant performance of the Boneyard Rap.
Hello, I'm in Year 4 at St Augustine's, and the poem we are going to perform is the Boneyard Rap by Magee. This is the rhythm of the Boneyard Rap. Knuckle bones click and hand bones clap. Finger bones flick and thigh bones slap. When you're doing the rhythm of the Boneyard Rap.
It's the Boneyard Rap, and it's a scare. Give your bones a shake up if you dare. Rattle all your teeth and waggle your jaw. And let's do the Boneyard Rap once more.
This is the rhythm of the Boneyard Rap. Elbow bones clink and back bones snap. Shoulder bones chink and toe bones tap. When you're doing the rhythm of the Boneyard Rap.
It's the Boneyard Rap and it's a scare. Give your bones a shake up if you dare. Rattle all your teeth and waggle your jaw. Let's do the Boneyard Rap once more.
This is the rhythm of the Boneyard Rap. Ankle bones sock and arm bones flap. Pelvic bones knock and knee bones zap. When you're doing the rhythm of the Boneyard Rap.
Thank you for listening to our performance. I hope you all enjoyed it.
That was incredible. Well done, St Augustine's. I'm particularly pleased that you're involved in this episode, as St Augustine's was actually the first school I ever attended as a child, albeit a very long time ago now. I have some wonderful memories of being there. I had only 6 children in my year group, and the wonderful but slightly scary Miss Sant was the head teacher at the time. It was a lovely, lovely school then, and it sounds like it might be even better now. Well done again. Just over a month ago, children and teachers all around the Trust were putting on their costumes and daubing on the face paint in preparation for World Book Day 2022. We asked the children from our podcasting schools to tell us all about their fun World Book Day activities, and this is what they reported.
Day 2022 at Church Eaton Primary School, we took part in a lot of exciting activities throughout the day, including scavenger hunts and recreating book covers.
We made bookmarks and read amazing stories.
We had a virtual author who taught us about reading.
During the day, everybody in the school dressed up as their favourite character from their favourite book. Everybody looked amazing. We had everybody from Robin Hood to Cruella de Vil, from Harry Potter to Gangster Granny. It was so much fun.
So Sam, what did you dress up as on World Book Day?
Dog.
And did it have wings?
Yeah.
And what did you do with your wings on World Book Day?
Flap.
You flapped, and where did you flap them?
In the room.
In the room and outside. It was almost like you were at Dragon School, wasn't it?
Yeah. World Book Day is fun because everybody gets to dress up as costumes, even the teacher does.
I dressed up as Phileas Fogg, the man who went around the world in 80 days, and won a £10 book token.
At World Book Day, we were at the door at the library. We opened the library so we can look at some books. On World Book Day, we opened a brand new library. We had a brand new person named Mr. Flower to open the grand opening. And we all enjoy reading the books. The books are fantastic.
For World Book Day 2022 at Horton St Michael's, we had a special assembly where we had a costume parade. We all got to see each other dressed as our favourite book characters.
Some of the teachers looked really funny in their costumes. Lots of us came dressed as characters from Harry Potter because we love the book so much.
For World Book Day 2022 at St Augustine's, we celebrated the joy of books and how wonderful storytelling is.
Here is what Marley from Year 3 had to say about the fun activities in school.
We all enjoyed spending time together in the hall designing our own magical dolls.
During the day, everyone dressed up as their favourite characters from different books.
We had a special worship in which a magical red door appeared overnight.
Inside a wrapped parcel, we had been given Journey by Aaron Becker.
This is a wordless picture book that everyone in the school enjoyed.
A bored little girl one day finds a mysterious red chalk in her bedroom. It takes her to a whole other world.
Was it fun?
It sounds like an awful lot of fun and learning happened on that day. Well done to all of our news reporters for telling us all about it.
Welcome to our podcast.
What are the favourite books for the children? Who are their favourite authors and why do they like them so much? Here are the children of our podcasting schools to tell us.
Williams is my favourite author because whenever you read one of his books, you usually get lost in reading and you just keep on reading and it really makes you want to learn. It also teaches you loads of new punctuation.
Well done.
What's your favourite storybook?
Hansel and Gretel.
Can you tell me why it's your favourite storybook?
Because I like Hansel.
And is there a special part of the story that is delicious? What's the delicious, scrummy part to the story?
How flowers made out of sweet.
Yum.
My favourite story is The Dinosaur Who Pooped Out Christmas.
And what does he poop out?
Christmas!
And what's the favourite thing that he poops out at Christmas?
It's actually the turkey, because of how you can't eat poopy turkey.
Yeah. My favourite book ever is The Danger Gang because I love the way Tom Fletcher has brought the characters to life. It's so funny and it's very, very thrilling. I highly recommend it.
My favourite author is David Williams because he makes very funny jokes in his books and very nice books.
My favourite author is Julia Donaldson because she makes really good books that I like to read.
My favourite book is Paw Patrol because I like Chase and Rubble.
My favourite books are the information books because most people don't even know about these other creatures that you may have not knew about. I like Fantastic Mr. Fox because he steals food from the villains. Daisy Meadows is my favourite author because every story has a different character and they always look nothing alike each other.
My favourite author is Jeff Kinney because he created Diary of a Wimpy Kid and the character is a bit naughty sometimes.
Uh-oh.
My favourite book ever is Shadow by Michael Morpurgo because the character is a Cocker Spaniel like my dog at home. He gets lost but he finds his old owner in the end. It makes me cry but happy at the same time. I really like non-fiction books about volcanoes because I learned so much about them.
I didn't think I would like The Enormous Crocodile because I'm not usually into Roald Dahl, but when I read it, I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it. Miss Cashmore read us The Valley of the Lost Secrets by Leslie Parr, and I loved it. My favourite character was Jim because he was so brave.
That was lovely, well done. If you've heard about a book or an author that you didn't know, why don't you check them out in your local library or bookshop? It's time now for another brilliant poetry performance, this time from Dove CE Academy, as they perform for us Mrs. Sprocket's Strange Machine by Michaela Morgan.
This is Dove First School presenting Mrs. Sprocket's Strange Machine.
Mrs. Sprocket has a strange machine. It will thrill you through and through. It's got wheels and springs and 7 strings, and this is what they do. Pull string number 1, it will start to hum. Pull string number 2, it goes cock-a-doodle-doo. Pull string number 3, it will buzz like a bee. Pull string number 4, it will start to roll. Pull string number 5, it will dip and dive. Pull string number 6, it will play silly tricks. Pull string number 7, it will fly up to heaven. Mrs. Sprocket has a strange machine. It will thrill you through and through. It's got wheels and springs and 7 strings, and I wish I had one too.
How brilliant. I'd love to see Mrs. Sprocket's Strange Machine too. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Welcome to the SUAT podcast.
Thank you so much for listening.
We asked teachers from our podcasting schools to share their top tips for parents and children in learning to love reading. Here is what they had to say, with a sneaky bonus tip also from a pupil at Church Eaton Primary School.
Once upon a time.
My top tip for reading is to try and explore lots of different types of text. You can read newspapers, comic books, poems, cookbooks. It doesn't just have to be a book. Reading can be done in so many different ways. Get out there and explore.
If your child is not keen to read, finding books that suit their interests is a great place to start. So if your child is really interested in dinosaurs or space, non-fiction and factual books on these may get them engaged. Or, if your child is a keen footballer, there are many books that have a football theme, such as the Football School series by Alex Bellos and Ben Littleton, or Horrid Henry and the Football Fiend. Anything to get your little one wanting to read.
So just a reading tip for you for those children just starting out on the exciting adventure of reading. On your reading books, most of the reading schemes have on the inside cover the sounds that they're going to meet in the story and the words that they're going to meet in the story. If you work very closely with your child in building those sounds up and building those words up, they should be able to read the story.
Ready, set, go!
If your child isn't too keen on reading, what you could do is try and engage them with the pictures and trying to make predictions about what they think is going to happen in the story, and then they're going to want to read on to find out more.
Reading can be really important. It can help you with English and take you to another world. If you read Harry Potter, it takes you to Hogwarts and go on magical adventures. Read Horrid Henry, it will take you to a journey of a mischievous world. So I say read, read, read.
Yeah!
Great tips there. Thank you, everyone. Ben Davis is a brilliant Staffordshire children's author who also visits schools up and down the country to give talks and creative writing workshops. we asked Ben if he could also give some advice for young readers and their parents, and this is what he told us.
Hello everyone, my name's Ben Davis and I'm an author, a children's author. I write books like The Soup Movement, which is my most recent one, What's That in Dog Years, which is another one of mine, and the Joe Cowley series. And it won't surprise you to learn that I'm a very keen reader and have been since I was really little. I used to go to the library most weekends when I was at school and take new books out. Back then when I was in primary school, I think the first author I remember really being into was Dick King-Smith. But obviously Roald Dahl was a big one, as it is for loads of people. The Goosebumps books as well. And I used to read loads. And that's what made me want to become an author. I just remember reading really, really good books and just thinking that's what I want to do one day. And I did, which is great. So reading really can be anything. If you prefer it as an escapist sort of thing, you know, to travel to other worlds, to not think about this one that we're in, that's fantastic. Or it's another way of putting yourself in someone else's shoes and seeing the world through someone else's eyes and having empathy with someone else and understanding what the world is like for someone from a different background to you. And that's something I try and do with my books. So, obviously I love reading. I think that goes without saying. And I think reading is for everyone and it's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to feel like a chore. It's supposed to be a fun thing to do. So maybe if you feel like reading's not for you, maybe you just haven't found the right book yet. But luckily, there's lots of people out there to give fantastic book recommendations, librarians, people like that. And, if you're struggling to pick up a book, just think about what you're interested in. If you're interested in football, there are a lot of fantastic books about football out there. I used to love reading football books when I was a kid. I believe Tom Palmer's the big football author these days, but there's loads of them. Anything you're interested in, literally anything you're interested in, there will be a book about it. Basketball, there'll be books about history, absolutely anything, but there will always be something. Animals, obviously. So if you feel like there's not a book out there for you, I guarantee you there is, and it's just about finding it.
Many thanks, Ben. There was some fantastic advice there. If you'd like to find out more about Ben and his books, visit bendavisauthor.com. Now, if we're going to read wonderful writing, someone like Ben has to write fantastic stories or poems to begin with. At the start of the show, I teased a forthcoming writing competition from Staffordshire University Academies Trust, and it's time now to tell you just a little bit more about it. If you're a teacher in a SUAT school working with Key Stage 1 or Key Stage 2 children, that's years 1 to 6. Please be on the lookout for information coming into your school about the SUAT 100 Words Writing Competition. It will be a trust-wide competition for children to write short stories or poems of no more than 100 words on a theme of their choice. There are going to be some fantastic prizes up for grabs. Don't tell anyone, but I've heard mention of tickets for Alton Towers, book vouchers and book bundles for school libraries being amongst the prizes. Winning entries will also be performed as part of the next episode of the SUAT podcast towards the end of the summer term, and we can't wait to hear what the children write.
Welcome to the SUAT podcast.
Thank you so much for listening.
It's time now for some more lovely poetry performances. First, we are going to hear 2 children at Church Eaton Primary as they perform By Myself by Eloise Greenfield and If I Had Wings by Corbett. Then, a great performance by Maple Class at Horton St Michael's of a poem from one of my favourite authors, Little Red Riding Hood and the Wolf by Roald Dahl.
When I am by myself and I close my eyes, I am a room full of toys. I am a group of boys. I am a cave full of bears. I am a baby care. I am a gurgle of a bath. I am a gospel path. I am a bath. I'm a high note. I'm a speedy guide. I'm a car zooming past. I'm something in the past. I'm whatever I want to be and anything I care to be. What I want to be is me.
If I had wings, I would touch the frail fingertips of clouds. If I had wings, I would taste a chunk of sun as hot as peppered curry. If I had wings, I would listen to the clouds' soft breath. If I had wings, I would smell the scent of fresh raindrops. If I had wings, I would gaze as the people who cling to the earth's crust. If I had wings, I would dream of swimming the deserts and walking seas.
We are from Maple class from Horton St Michael's, and we are going to be reading Little Red Riding Hood and the Wolf poem by Roald. As soon as the wolf began to feel like he would like a decent meal, he went and knocked on Grandma's door. When Grandma opened it, she saw the sharp white teeth, and the wolfie said, "May I come in?"
Poor Grandma was terrified. "He's going to eat me up," she cried. And she was absolutely right. He ate her up in one big bite.
But Grandma was small and tough, and Wolfie wailed, "That's not enough. I haven't yet begun to feel that I have a decent meal."
He ran around the kitchen yelping, "Got to have a second helping," then added with a frightful leer,
"Therefore going to wait right here till little Miss Red Riding Hood comes home from walking in the wood." He put on Grandma's clothes. Of course he hadn't ate those. He dressed himself in coat and hat. He put on shoes, and after that he even brushed and curled his hair, then sat himself in Grandma's chair.
In came the little girl in red. She stopped, she stared, and then said, "What great big ears you have, Grandma." "All the better to hear you with," the wolf replied. "What great big eyes you have, Grandma," said Little Red Riding Hood. "All the better to see you with," the wolf replied.
He sat there watching her and smiled. He thought, "I'm going to eat this child. Compared to her with her old grandmama, she's going to taste like caviar." Then the Little Red Riding Hood said, "But Grandmama, what a lovely big furry coat you have on."
"That's wrong," cried Wolf. "Have you forgot to tell me what big teeth I've got? Oh well, no matter what you say, I'm going to eat you anyway."
The small girl smiles, one eyelid flickers. She whips a pistol from her knickers. She aims it at the creature's head, and bang, 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 she shoots him dead.
A few weeks later, in the woods, I came across Miss Riding Hood. But what a change! No cloak of red, no silly hood upon her head. She said, "Hello, and do please note my lovely furry wolfskin coat."
Those were brilliant performances. Well done to the children at Church Eaton and Horton St Michael's. Well, we're nearing the end of our Love of Reading podcast now. We hope you've enjoyed everything you've heard. There's one more really important thing that we need to do though, and that's reveal the answers to our Masked Authors quiz from the start of the show. So here one last time are the children of Church Eaton, Dove CE Academy, Horton St Michael's and St Augustine's to reveal the answers.
Time to reveal Church Eaton Primary School's mystery author.
Yes, our author was J.K. Rowling,
the famous author of Harry Potter.
Time to reveal Horton St Michael's mystery author. Our author was Roald Dahl.
Augustine's mystery author?
Yes, our author was
David Williams,
the famous author of Gangster Granny.
Thank you, everyone. How many did you get right at home?
Welcome to the SUAT podcast.
Thank you so much for listening.
Well, that's it for another episode of the SUAT podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening to the show as much as we've enjoyed making it for you, and that the love of reading in our schools shines through. Please give the show a thumbs up on YouTube and share the link to family, friends and colleagues who might want to listen too. If you'd like to share any feedback or comments, you can send us a tweet on Twitter at SUAT Trust. That's at SUATRUST. The website for the trust is at suatrust.co.uk. A huge thank you again to the children and staff at Church Eaton Primary School, Dove CE Academy, St Augustine CE Academy and Horton St Michael's CE First School and Nursery School for doing such an amazing job in recording their contributions for the show. My name is Richard Anderson and thank you again for joining us. We'll be back in the summer with the next episode of the SUAT podcast. Have a lovely Easter break, everyone. Look out for information on the 100 words writing competition and we'll see you again later in the year.
Welcome to our podcast.
Thanks for listening.